Alright, we're on.
So what's happening?
We're gonna watch, I got the internet fixed, and we're gonna watch the trailer for Star Wars.
You mean like get actual
Shut up.
service?
Alright, shut up.
Oh, wait a minute. Now the internet works?
Yes, because I fixed it.
Give it a minute, it'll be out again. Oh, I have seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Star Wars teaser trailer. We'll talk about this.
We've passed on all we know.
Didn't I see something?
At the
A
theater.
There you
thousand
go.
generations live in you now.
Because you saw Endgame.
Yeah.
But this is
That's
your
good.
fight.
I don't remember it. Okay.
Or poop its pants.
Or puke on you?
Or cry incessantly.
Have you gotten
Slime
the
on
pee?
you.
Have you gotten the pee on the mouth yet?
I have not gotten peed on yet.
You know, it's easy just to put it in the shower. Just telling you.
Yeah.
Here.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that lightsaber.
That is not well.
That's Luke. That's the original.
No. I'm just saying this is not Kylo Ren chasing her.
It's not?
Nope. Because
That's an
a-
interceptor.
That is a normal TIE interceptor. That is not Kylo Ren's
Oh, okay. They hint at it, though.
interceptor.
Well, then why wouldn't just a normal person?
Oh, I
shoot
love
at it?
this.
Yeah.
Boom. I love the helmet, too. I'm so glad. Lando.
So when Elias cries, he sounds like Chewbacca. Yeah, and I call him Muppet. That's...
Death Star.
So is this the last Star Wars movie ever?
Not the last ever, but the last of the Skywalker. Now,
The last of the 9.
yes.
The last of the 9.
So,
Right.
here, the last of the 9. That actually would be a good book title.
Mhm.
Think about it. The last of the 9.
Also ring race and stuff like that.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I will say,
Oh, yeah.
I thoroughly
Rings
did
of
enjoy
Men.
Solo. That was pretty good.
Don't be started on that. Okay, so we just watched the Star Wars teaser trailer. Now, no one's, even you, no one's a bigger combo Star Wars fan, I'd say, than I am, necessarily, in that Lucas, Timothy Zahn, Disney, I'm a just big nerd for all that stuff. And Star Wars has been not performing well for Disney. I think that they have mishandled it a little.
Enormously. Why the fuck would you spend how many billions of dollars they did for a trilogy and then not fucking plan out all 3 movies before you just hand each individual movie to a director and say, do what you want with it, without connecting them and then leaving the directors to figure that shit out? That's incredibly stupid.
I think that, well, and here's the part that makes it even more stupid is that they did that with Marvel. Disney owns Marvel, and they let Kevin Feige do that very thing you're talking about.
Plan it out.
And I think that they thought Kathleen Kennedy was going to be that person, and they were wrong. Now, here's the weird thing about Kathleen Kennedy for me. If you look at the old movies we grew up with, her name is all over them. Her and Spielberg and Lucas, she's been in that inner circle from her entire career. Who the fuck did she fuck to get to that spot? I'm not just, I would say this about a guy or a woman. I don't care about the fact that she's a woman. How the hell did she get into that spot and then mishandle what's going on? Now, that said, I like the new Star Wars. Force Awakens is the greatest. I mean, in terms of the new Star Wars, obviously. I love it. But I do like Last Jedi. I like Solo. I like Rogue One. Actually, I really love Rogue One, actually. And those are a lot of fun. I think they've been given a really unfair bashing. Now, that said, Mick made the comment when we were coming down here that he hated Last Jedi. Earl and
I'm not
Okay.
really a fan, though.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
You disliked it.
Why?
Nope.
Earl and
kinda
I
curious
loved
why.
it,
I-
but
Because to me, I liked it better than Force Awakens, personally.
I
That's
wouldn't
just
go that
me.
far. But
There was a bit of a darker spin to it for me, and that's what I liked about it.
and it gave aspects of the Force that we'd never seen before,
Right.
which I liked a lot. So, Mick, why didn't you love Last Jedi?
And I think most of it comes back to the whole Luke stuff. I thought he was really, really underutilized. I understand the other, reading people's opinions and stuff like that. I understand where they were maybe trying to go with really breaking the story free from just being so Luke-centric. But the way he was utilized was just, okay, so what? She could have stumbled along and picked up her own Force learnings without even having him in there. If you're going to completely... I don't know.
Well,
I didn't care for it.
If you think about it, Luke was kind of doing that too in the original trilogy up until he met Yoda, who really didn't give him... He gave him some stuff, but didn't give him a whole lot. And he ended up crashing head on. So, in a way, she did kind of the same thing. I mean, obviously they're using the same tropes a little bit.
Well, she's
They've
young.
definitely done that
Yeah.
with all the... That's the other
So,
thing, too, is they've
you know,
mirrored...
Oh, yeah.
but everything's cyclic.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I think part of the big meta Force, analogy is everything's cyclic. Things do come in full circle.
Life will find a way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
Cool.
Which, truer words have never been spoken.
I know.
And we become our parents, we become our mentors, we become all these things. I agree with you with the cyclical nature of the story. It was always intended to be that way. When Earl and I went to see Last Jedi, what I loved about Last Jedi was the fact that it was so different. It was Empire in that it was so different than what became before or after. If you look at Empire, Empire is a movie in of itself. Like, even though it's the center part of a whole trilogy, I could watch Empire and never watch the other two. Ever.
Exactly.
Right.
If I had to choose between the three, it'd be that one. If I had to choose between the 9, it would be that one.
Mm-hmm.
That said, when Force Awakens came out, we all made the comment that Force Awakens was so much like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And we say Star Wars, we mean A New Hope, quote unquote.
Right.
It's Star Wars to us. It was just called Star Wars.
Yep.
And I've heard a lot of people say that recently. And I think The Force Awakens took a lot of that trope. There's a few things that did right, a few things that did wrong. I think the books and the comics kind of expanded on Force Awakens more so than Last Jedi. I think there was a whole push for media when The Force Awakens came out. They had all this ancillary kind of books and comics and all these things going on that tied into it. And then, you're right, why would Disney hand it to Johnson, who decided to basically go, here's JJ's version, fuck it, and threw it out and did whatever he wanted, which I kind of understand in terms of a fit. Shut up. My phone's talking to me. In terms of its own film, but you don't push that far. You don't push. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. Essentially, Gen X, we're the ones who keep Star Wars going. That's us. The millennials kind of like it because of the prequels. The Gen Zers MCU will be their Star Wars. That's the way it is. So Star Wars really lives with the Gen Xers, and sometimes the boomers that made it, and that kind of thing. They better be serving us, or they're not going to make any money. I think after we're of a certain age, Star Wars is dead. I don't think that Disney will be able to resurrect it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're alienating the core audience that would have made them money, and they'll still make money, of course, but would have really made it insanely crazy. And I think that a little bit with the parks they're doing with Star Wars Land and all that stuff kind of makes up for that a little, because what I'm seeing coming out of there, making your own lightsaber, making your own droids, everybody interacting with you as if you're in Star Wars, that's cool. But also for that same reason, the Disney freak that I am, I'm not going to go back to Disneyland for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars Land's going to ruin it. It's going to fucking ruin it. Every asshole, insane, fucking crazy line waiting for 10 hours to get into something is going to happen because of that.
Yeah.
And my wife actually asked me, do you want to go see Star Wars down in Disneyland? Yes, I do, but I don't want to wait in line.
We had actually talked about
We
going
did.
this year as the opening year, and then Rob was like, you know what? Let's wait.
Too much.
Yeah.
So she says, do you want to go, or do you want to go to Disney World and see it there? I'd rather see it in Disney World because Disney World has the infrastructure to be able to actually compensate for that whole thing. That said, now that JJ's back doing the new Star Wars, the latest version of it, I think that's a good move. I think when JJ was involved with Star Trek in the first movie, it's amazing. It's totally amazing. When he was involved in Force Awakens, totally amazing. Just a great movie. But then they handed it to Johnson. He fucked it up, so now they're bringing JJ back to kind of fix it. You can see they have Lando in there. You can see they're doing all the tropes. That was the perfect teaser. That reminded me of the first time we saw the Force Awakens teaser. Mm-hmm. When Boyega came up on the screen, panting. Mm-hmm. They had the Falcon drifting in the sand. Mm-hmm. You know, that great trailer that I freaked out about, and you did too. I think this reminds me of that. So, Jay, you're being awful quiet.
Star Wars is dead. I think you hit it right on the head. Bye, Jay.
I'm not going anywhere. my thoughts.
Continue. Star Wars is dead.
Star Wars is dead. I think you hit it. It's just like, when was the last time? I like the Star Trek movies, the new ones, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I never thought about it that way. The ones
there's good energy there,
especially the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's not going to be any more. Not with the same cast or anything else.
You're right.
Other than the TV show that's not even on normal TV. It's you gotta be
Discovery's so bad.
Yeah,
so awful.
Really.
Orville, totally better.
I've been looking at that more and more.
Oh, you love Orville.
Yeah.
That's right up your alley. Anyway, we'll move on to that second.
Rocks.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I think you're right. Both of those are too generational. They're not connecting with the younger crowd. And
which I think is really too bad, because the original concept of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's original concept, is so progressive and so what we need right now. And I think that's why I say the Orville's are the only one really doing that justice. Mm-hmm. Because Next Generation, I love all of Star Trek. I really love it all. And it's my number one. It really is. It always will be. It's my parent as much as Star Wars is, but it's still in the number one spot for me. Because it postulates a future where we're not in Terminator land, where we're not in Ready Player One, where we're not in MCU. It
we're
postulates
not even back to the future land.
There you go. It postulates a future, especially
we're not in Transformer land. They apparently landed like 15 years ago.
Fuck yeah. Instead of 4 million years ago, but dinosaurs don't even start.
Yeah,
but
screw him.
Again, back to Transformers, fucker. I hadn't mentioned it the entire evening. We ought to come back to Transformers, in case you didn't notice. But anyway, Star Trek, you're right, is very generational. I think that the meaning is lost. I think the original concept is lost. And I think Star Wars might be at that point as well, unless JJ can really pull it out with this one. And even if he does, it's still the end. It's still the last, kind of like Endgame, it's the last saga of this particular story arc.
Of this arc, yeah.
And I think that Kevin Smith actually made a comment about the trailer saying that The Rise of Skywalker, when I first saw that title, when I first saw it, I hated it. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you say The Rise of Skywalker? He's fucking dead. Don't bring him back from the dead. Don't do a Patrick Duffy fucking 1980s, bring him back from the dead for no reason. It was all a dream. Whatever. Don't do that. But he made the comment that it could have more of a religious aspect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're not Jedi anymore. They're Skywalkers. That's the new order. And I think that is a great idea. I clamored onto that, and after listening to that and watching that trailer, I was like, oh, that'd be really cool if they made a whole new religion, a whole new edict out of that. Out of Rey honoring
what Luke wanted.
Who Luke in turn honoring his father, which was attached to the old Jedi. It's really cyclical, like you were saying. And I think that's the only way they could really do it. And I hope that's the case.
No, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they're done. They're done with the primary filming. They're doing some last minute post filming stuff. I had read somewhere that Christian Hayden has got some voiceover.
Well, they already did it with Kenobi.
Yeah,
they did it with what's his
name? So they're utilizing, because it kind of goes back to the whole opening. There's generations of us. Now, generations of us, good and bad, is how I'm looking at that. So imparting. So I mean, you've got Palpatine doing his thing.
And of course, you guys have read Dark Empire. You never read Dark Empire?
I don't think so.
The whole clone thing.
Wow. Of course, you read Timothy Zahn with the Heir to the Empire stuff.
Yep. I've
Did
got
you read the Jedi Academy trilogy?
No, I've got
Richard Dean Anderson, or not Richard Dean, Richard Dean Anderson.
Dean Foster.
Kevin Anderson.
Kevin Anderson. Yeah.
Duh, Richard Dean. Never
Yeah,
heard that
sorry,
name since-
MacGyver. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Stargate.
Or-
In the middle of that, they did Dark Horse Comics did a series called Dark Empire, where the Emperor actually came back as a clone, and they did like a whole 3-arc series of it. It's really amazing. If you haven't read it, or it's got it on audio
I'll check
and
it out
on
from the library.
comics, do it. Dark Empire is
Well,
amazing.
So,
Every
so
time-
I have a
every time.
feeling what they're doing is after Disney said fuck the whole EU or Legends.
Extended Legends.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Forgive me, Disney, for using the actual proper
Like
terminology.
we're forgiving to an angry God. Please,
Yeah.
Disney, don't
Yeah,
smite
it-
us.
No, the fuck. It's called what it is. The
Also,
extended
we'd
universe.
love to be sponsored by you.
You know.
Just throw that out there.
So but I think they're going to start saying, you know what? Wait a minute. Maybe we got a little too rash here. Let's start throwing some stuff back in as the way it should be.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. But in a way, the way they wrote the whole Ben Solo, they did do some of the Jason Jaina Solo aspects.
Oh, from the twins.
From the twins. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do here. I got an open mind. I mean, I liked Last Jedi for what it was. I know a lot of people had heartburn with it, but
I think the best thing they did in Last Jedi is, she's searching for who her parents are, and then
it's like,
and then Kylo comes in and does a rock impersonator. It doesn't fucking matter who your parents were.
That's right.
it's about who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
So she can move on and let go of the past and
Suck it up.
yeah.
And there's the whole dynamic between Kylo and Snoke.
Yeah.
With the whole daddy complex and he gives him shit, so he breaks the helmet, which I'm glad he reforges in this one.
Right.
I think it's a real metaphor for that. That's really great.
So I think there are some great concepts from The Last Jedi that I hope that JJ will say, okay, even though you probably were with Rian Johnson doing what he did, JJ's like, well, how do I steer it back into the direction of my vision?
Well, maybe that was their point from the beginning.
Maybe it was. Maybe they both were like, you're going this way, and I'm going to take it here. Is there still an end goal that we're getting at? Because I don't know. JJ was not the original director for this third movie, was he?
No,
They brought him on.
For Force?
No, for
this. Oh no, they
Rise
brought him
of
back after Johnson kind of fucked it up.
right, because
apparently.
was Johnson was supposed to do this?
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, I don't know
can't
who it
remember.
was originally, but it was like a big deal
What's
when
that?
they said, "Hey, JJ's doing the third one." So
Right, it was a big deal when he was announced to be coming and doing the third. I don't know who was the
yeah, I
if
can't
it was somebody
remember.
else that was involved and they ran afoul of the
who
Disney
got fired from
minders.
Solo? It wasn't the Russos. It was
No,
No,
it was the Lord. It was the guys who did Deadpool. Yeah, and wrote the Lego Movie. I think it was Lord.
yeah. It was the guys that got, yeah.
Yeah, and then Ron Howard came in. Like,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Ron Howard came in to finish up the
Kinda
Solo
fix it up,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
which Solo was not bad.
Nope.
I liked it okay.
I like Solo for what it was.
Yeah.
Because I think Solo was probably one of the closest movies that paid homage to the EU that was not Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff in Solo that was like, I just read that in the
Like
EU
the Maw
books.
cluster and all that stuff.
All
yeah.
of it. I mean, there were variances, obviously, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably one of the closest ones for me.
it was a
to the EU.
sci-fi heist movie with characters I was sort of familiar with.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. Yeah.
It was good for what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, Rogue One was the same way.
Yeah.
Same
Rogue
kind of
One.
thing.
Yeah.
Then are they doing a Boba Fett movie?
They're not.
No, they're doing the TV show.
Yeah, they're doing the
The
Mandalorian, which is not
which
about
that looks
Boba Fett.
really good. I've heard good things about that.
I have not seen the latest trailer. Is the latest trailer that they came out with any good?
Possibly. I don't know. They haven't released the trailer that was its Celebration, but
I had heard something. There was like a trailer out, and I never went back to
let's
research
see
it.
here.
Yeah, I liked Rogue One because Rogue One was a great movie in the sense of you always heard them talk about it,
Yep.
what actually happened, and there was really no foundation for it. So here you go. Oh,
that's from Star Wars. Back up. This is stolen from
yeah, it's a
Star
stolen
Wars
celebration. I thought there was an actual. They released.
No,
the
they haven't
official-
released it yet.
Oh.
Oh, this is Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like who they casted.
Yeah.
Pascal.
Right.
I guess getting your eyes squished out in Game of Thrones gets you a lot of.
There you go. He had a great role in that.
What we're bringing to the screen for the first time is a live-action Star Wars series. It takes place about 5 years after the Return of the Jedi.
Oh, Favreau's doing it. It's going to be
Series
good.
follows a Mandalorian.
This new character is a gunfighter, a bounty hunter, a citizen of the underworld on the outer reaches of the galaxy. It starts off with him just hunting down quarries, making his money. This is a character you've never met before, in a period of time that you've never seen him.
There's just an aesthetic to the Mandalorian that is extremely powerful, mysterious. This armor that harkens to medieval knights. He's relatable. We're all kind of covered in our own armor.
Here we are, day 3.
Start a little bit back and then move into that position.
In terms of directors, I think John chose the team really, really well.
I think if they're going to do with Star Wars like they did with the MCU, they should let Favreau be Feige.
Yes.
Do the
Like,
whole
be
thing.
able to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Tycho?
Different voices and personalities that each of the filmmakers were bringing to the table. And wanted to
Kathleen.
bring that to the world of Star Wars.
Everybody's point of view is sort of involved in the story.
This series offers the opportunity to introduce new planets, new races and species, new starships. However, we wanted to feel completely connected and familiar.
It's truly an adventure. A Star Wars adventure.
It has the heart that Star Wars has always been about.
It will feel gritty, it will feel real.
But anybody could sit down in their seat and watch and enjoy.
Isn't that the MMA fighter gal? She was in Haywire and Deadpool. It is. She's great. I love her. Yeah, that's
Hopefully.
the Mandalorian. That looks pretty awesome, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll bring Boba Fett back.
Well,
They'll find a way.
no, yeah. Well, that's why I want you to read Dark.
The guy got
totally
pushed
surprised
off
you
into
didn't know
that.
that. Totally surprised.
I wrote that.
into a hole,
Okay.
and that's how he died. This great
No,
warrior.
because in the EU he escapes. They'll bring him back.
Mhm. I have no idea what he's talking about. EU.
Expanded universe.
Thank you.
Ooh,
It's the stuff. It's all the stuff that basically. When
Everything
Disney
that
took
was
over-
written until Disney said it's
Right.
not so.
Right. This is not what really happened
Right.
anymore.
It was our world until Disney shat on it.
Right. And then Disney's like, yeah, no, we're going to create the reality. So.
You know, I've been recently going back and listening, watching, reading the old EU, and I forgot how great it is. It's just they have 30 years of history there. It's just
Between the comics and all the novels that were written, and there's a ton of stuff there.
and it's so great and deep and detailed and wonderful. And I kind of like, of the new EU, the new expanded universe, my favorites are the Tarkin book. If you haven't read that one about Tarkin, great. The Phasma book is awesome.
Yeah,
It
those
kind
are
of makes
the
me.
two
It
that
kind of
I
pisses
read.
me off that they don't use her character better.
She's so underutilized in the movies.
So, and if you read the book
So
Phasma,
disappointing.
you're really going to be pissed because the book Phasma is great. What else? There's a couple other ones that are really good, but for the most part, the expanded portion.
Was it the Aftermath, the trilogy, the three that talk about? Was it Aftermath or
Oh, I read those. Yeah, those are not. No, who cares? Like those are.
Those really didn't.
They're okay, but they don't match anything. They don't play any kind of part. If you read Tarkin and Phasma, they play a part in the movies, but the Aftermath stuff just kind of is just there just so somebody can read it.
Oh, okay.
The new EU, I guess, They have those Aftermath books. There's 3 of them, 4 of them, 3.
I think it's 3. Yeah.
And they're okay. I think Mr. Bones is a great character. They basically take a G1 battle droid and turn it into a crazy assassin. And that's a cool character. But beyond that, I don't really even remember the other names.
What, HG-88 or was that his name?
No, I'm talking from Phantom Menace. Okay. Like the little Roger droid. They turn him, they hang a bunch of bones from him and then turn him into a crazy assassin where his favorite thing is killing people. It's pretty awesome, actually. That part's great. But yeah, they don't really do a lot with it. And I'm kind of disappointed in them. But
no, I think that's kind of what my issue is with the Star Wars stuff. I'm just not excited for it. I didn't even see The Last Jedi until the last one that just came out, right? Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until it was out on streaming for months, so I didn't pay anything for it. I don't really give a shit at this point. And the trailer looks good, but I don't know if I'm really all that excited in a rush to go see it. It's like, maybe we'll see.
I will say, as far as Last Jedi, my favorite part of it was the fight scene but with Rey and Kylo, fighting the Praetorian Guard. Mm-hmm. That was a great scene, because that's how fight scenes should be shot. Yeah. No more of this quick edit, moving around. Everything's choreographed. Everything is very samurai, very Kill Bill kind of.
Balletic.
Yeah. And it looked so great. Just for that reason alone, I gave it a pass. Mm-hmm. But then the whole aspect of them, a lot of people bitched about the way they communicated through the Force, both way Rey and Kylo. But I thought that was great because it showed an aspect of the Force that no one had ever thought of, no one had ever written about, no one had ever put into word. And I think that the fact that they could transmit like water. Remember, he got water on him because she was on the coast, and then later on, the dice from the Millennium Falcon, he put it into Leia's hand, and it actually transmuted physically over that space and time, even though Luke wasn't actually there.
Well, that's just it. They haven't really explained. So what's their connection beyond just kind of being the yin and the yang? What's their connection that makes it so strong, so special?
I think they're related.
Well, yeah, I know, but then fucking get to it, and they're not doing it. So they're not explaining anything, and it's like, yeah, so it's a part of the Force that nobody's ever seen, but why is it manifesting itself?
Yeah,
because you've got, they would have shown something between, say, Vader and Kenobi or something like that. They were kind of the yin and the yang, possibly. Or a Yoda, because Luke wasn't really, and Luke and his father had a mental connection.
Well, in Empire, they kind of mentioned it, father, son, and then back and forth.
Right, but yeah, so if they've got this connection where there's a physical manifestation through great distance as well, then get to the point. Explain what's going on.
Move it along.
A little something, rather. You can't just kind of dangle and like I said, I'm kind of like, yeah, you're not really. Yeah,
well, there is a.
Well, you're at Star Wars fatigue. You're just.
It shouldn't be fatigue, though. I mean, there was a 20-year gap between movies, and now they finally got a new trilogy. I should be excited, which I was for the first one. And I was kind of like, it was good, but yeah. And
that's where I'm at with Star Trek. Like, same thing. I'm at that fatigue. I'm at Star Trek fatigue. Like, ugh.
Well, and then they can't apparently get their act together to get another movie made. So.
Well. The show's not carrying it at all.
Right. Whatever.
Wow.
What?
His whatever.
About the movie, or?
No, he's talking about Discovery.
Right. Oh, sorry, you guys are differing opinions.
Yeah. Are we differing opinions about that?
I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Really? All right, maybe we should switch gears then. We've kind of beaten Star Wars to death. We kind of know it's dead.
Yeah.
We kind of know that Disneyland is doing a great thing, but it's not.
Game of Thrones. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Now I get to take a nap.